So what do we do with this? You can see, if you look in there, the little tiny balls, ORBEEZ, they've just shriveled up. And they've all popped out. There's still some in there, look, little tiny ones. These little baby balls, look. And they're all just falling out. So I've no idea. I have no idea what to do with this, because the ORBEEZ inside here have kind of kept their size, but I think that's because the resin has kind of just sealed it in there, and I think that it will stay like that because obviously it's kind of sort of preserved it in there. But yes, I've had loads and loads of comments on this, loads, about all sorts of different kind of theories about what to do with it. Yes, I'm obviously fully aware that resin and water do not mix. However, it was kind of an interesting kind of experiment, and I kind of hope that you enjoyed watching it, because it was kind of weird for me to do. Kind of just had this idea and it just sort of popped in my head, so I thought it might be quite cool to see what happens. So obviously I want to try and make something with this though. Again, also, as the comments have come in, a lot of people have suggested, and I pretty much agree, is if we cut into this, it's going to break the seal of the ORBEEZ. They're always going to come popping out and end up with loads of little honeycomb kind of like things like this. Apparently, some people don't like the irregular holes, which is called something, some kind of a fear or phobia of irregular holes. I didn't even know that was a thing until it started coming up on the comments, so I apologise for that if people kind of got freaked out by the holes. Yeah, if you don't like irregular patterns or holes or whatever they are called, look away now. So yeah, I think if I cut into this, I think it is going to just kind of like explode, in the sense of all the water's going to... I think all the ORBEEZ have still definitely got water in them, and I think it's just going to end up with... We'll end up getting rid of all the colours, and it would just be a load of these honeycomb kind of like resin. So I don't know what to do with it. I've been racking my brains thinking, what should I do, what should I do with it? I mean, what we could do is slice off a piece off of the top here first to see how that comes out, see what happens to the ORBEEZ underneath. We put that on the lathe first, and then maybe we can use this top bit. We can maybe insert that into another piece of kind of wood where we can kind of make something out of it, maybe a bowl or something. But if we just turn this into a bowl or a pot or something like that, it's just going to be nothing really. I think all the colour's going to come out of it, and it will end up with not a lot. So I need to incorporate it with some wood. So let's get this on the lathe, and I'll stop waffling on, and we'll see what we can do with it. So there we go. It's just popped off, and there's still lots of moisture inside there. And these ORBEEZ, see, they're still obviously wet, and that's kind of obviously what I expected, really. So these would just pop out of here, I guess. Yeah, see, they're all wet and gooey, and so we're just going to end up with a load more holes. This is quite satisfying, actually, popping these out of here. Kind of like popping spots. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and blow these out with the air gun. Okay, so I've just blown out all of the ORBEEZ, the leftover ORBEEZ in there, and as you can see, we're just left with kind of like a honeycomb type of holes. There's still a couple of little ones in there. So this looks quite cool, actually, and I kind of imagined it was going to be like this. So what I think we'll do is we use this and insert this into a piece of wood if we can, and then what we could do then is fill this with resin. Now I could kind of fill it with all multicoloured bits of resin. That might look quite cool, but might be quite time consuming as well, to try and just put little dabs of resin in everywhere. But we'll see. I might just fill it with maybe one colour, not too sure yet, but we need to get a piece of wood first and then obviously figure out what we're actually gonna make, because at the moment I've no idea. Okay, so this is the base that we've obviously taken off this piece from, and then again all the ORBEEZ in there soaking wet. It's not mixing very well obviously in there, so if we carry on doing that, cutting this up, we're just going to end up with nothing in there. So I'm going to try and leave this piece, and we'll try and use this as maybe kind of integrate this into something that we're going to make on the top, and also the other bit for maybe the bottom or something. So yeah, I'm just going to blow them out, sand this off, and hopefully we can stick this onto a bit of wood and it will stay there. So I picked up this piece of wood the other day at Yandles. When I went over there with my mate Jim from Jimson Stuff. Don't know if you've seen his channel. Check him out. I'll leave a link below. Me and Jim went over there, we had a look around and picked up bits and pieces, you know, for the shop. And I found these really nice bits of wood. They're called, it's zebrano wood. No zebras were harmed whilst collecting this.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
But this looks really funky. And I reckon we could try to incorporate this into here. So I'm thinking something along the lines of getting this inside here somehow. I do want to incorporate the other piece, which is this piece as well, which I think would look quite nice, but don't really know at the moment where or how to incorporate that. We might have to use two, and luckily enough, I bought two. This is an absolutely beautiful bit of wood. Look at this. Zebra wood. Really, really lovely. Look at the grain and the features in that. Happy days. This is going to come up really, really nice. So, as you can see, we have kind of shaped this up now to, I don't know, spaceship? A flying saucer? Kind of shape. I don't really know yet what it is, but I suppose it's kind of a bowl-y type of pot type thing. But kind of my vision at the moment is I'm getting this ready to flip over into the chuck, get my emblem in the bottom there, finish this base, and then turn it around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert that honeycomb thing inside the bottom somehow, and then we need to, I think we're going to use the other blank that we've got to make a kind of like a lid of some kind for it. I don't know yet, but that looks nice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop on some sanding sealer from Chestnut. my old mate Terry. This is good stuff actually, so I'm going to bang this on here now, put a couple of coats of this, and then we'll keep sanding it back, getting it prepared, ready for a finish. So let's do that.
Shake well before use.
Look at this, folks! Hey? This is beautiful. Just finished that off with Wood Wax 22. And that's come up really, really nice. Now I could keep on buffing this and buffing it, you know, and if you want to get it really, really shiny like glass, you can carry on kind of like, you know, sanding down to a finer grit. I've gone up to about, what did I go up to? 320 grit on this, and then Yorkshire grit. I reckon that looks funky enough. What do you reckon? Actually, I'm going to put a bit of sheller wax on it. Woohoo! Check it out! Okay, so this is what we've got so far. We've gouged a little kind of like hole out here so we can fit our little honeycomb kind of resin thingamajiggy inside it. So this is kind of looking a funky kind of bowl actually, but there's going to be more to it than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock up a little bit of resin and I'm going to get this in here like that. That will look really cool. Check it out. But not just like that. So what I want to do, get some resin in there, clamp this down, leave this overnight. But while we're waiting for this to set, we're going to turn another one. And yes, before you ask, and I know what you're thinking, all that waste, I saved it for a rainy day. Okay, so there's the top piece, which, well, is gonna be the lid, which I'm kind of imagining. Now this, I've just basically put this in the sander a little bit, just to make it a little bit smaller. And this is gonna slot nicely into there. That is gonna look cool for a lid. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna glue this, I'm gonna epoxy resin this in. And I'm going to clamp this one down as well. So I'm going to leave this overnight with resin in here, clamp that down, clamp the other one down, and then come back and see if we can get this finished. I reckon it's going to look pretty cool.
Magnum.
Okay, so this is the top of our kind of like, well, our lid. And as you can see, I've just sanded this back a bit now. Now this is inserted and it started to blow out all the ORBEEZ. Which, you know, I kind of was hoping to maybe avoid initially. But actually now it's kind of starting to form. I'm thinking, actually, this could look kind of cool anyway. Sort of formed its own little kind of pattern, really, isn't it? So, and then we've still got some ORBEEZ trapped in here anyway. So I think that might be alright. I'm going to leave it like that now. I'm going to sand this back and finish this. And hopefully this will kind of just be part of the piece. Which I think is going to look quite cool, if I say so myself. So we've applied some Yorkshire grit. Now we just need something extra special to shine it up. Yorkshire grit white! Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Valentine. The ORBEEZ saucer? The ORBEEZ flying saucer. Well, sorry that took
So long, guys.
but it did take quite a while to just, I don't know, just everything kind of like just took ages. So unfortunately, this is another long video. But no doubt some of you have skipped to the end. I don't blame you. But there it is. I wanted to make something with this, and I was kind of thinking, what am I going to make with it? I really didn't know what I was going to make with it. I thought it was just going to be a waste of kind of like, not a waste, because obviously the experiment was quite cool. But then, you know, when I make something from whatever, I always want to try to continue that into making something out of it, you know, rather than just being a blank. And that's a blank forever. ORBEEZ are still trapped inside here. You can see there are some bubbles in there as well.
Dad, you like bubbles, don't you, Dad?
Yeah. Which look kind of cool, but they're not going anywhere, and they've been in there now for what, over a week. They're still the same, so that's really quite cool. It tells a really cool, funky story. You've got the back. I mean, this wood is beautiful. This really is lovely wood. This zebra wood, or zebra wood, zebra wood, zebra wood. And the inside, it's just like, you just take this off. Then you've got the inside there as well. There are a few holes in here, but I mean, without filling them more with resin and then going over it again. But hey, it's ORBEEZ, you know, they've got holes. This whole project's been about holes, so come on, I've got to leave a few in there. So there's a few holes in there, but that's kind of turned out fairly well. You can see that all right in the light. Let's see, there's just a few, like, just holes without the resin. The resin's not gone inside there. But it's quite cool, I suppose. You can put a few bits and pieces in there, I suppose, keys, jewellery, whatever. And then you've got this, or it can just be a an ornamental piece. I'll get this up on the website if anyone's interested. Website's listed below. Well, I won't waffle on because I'm sure this video has taken up plenty of your time, as it has mine. I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video. I just want to say before I go, thank you so much for all of your support. The channel is growing. Channel is going crazy at the moment, which is absolutely amazing. I love all your comments. I never really kind of expected that anyone would really be that interested in the experiment, but I guess you were. It was kind of cool. I did enjoy doing it. So this is the part 2 version of that. If you haven't seen the first one, if you've just joined us and subscribed today or something, if you look back at my last video, not the last one actually because that was a bit of a waffle, me talking about all sorts of stuff. The one before that, which was last Friday, I did an experiment with ORBEEZ, with these ORBEEZ, mixing them with resin and water, which obviously do not mix. But then again, they do. So there we go. Again, thanks very much. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it if you could share the video, because that always really helps. And give us a comment. I always look at the comments and I try to reply to all of them. Well, as many as I can anyway, but I definitely read them all because they're really cool, and thanks so much for your support. So thanks for watching. Take care. Have a fabulous, funky weekend, and I'll see you all again really soon. Cheers.